Yo, Jeremiah back with another video. You get the background noise, my little girl's watching the video too, so we just getting done from fishing. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Ben Askren. Where does Ben Askren go for here? Yo, man, I don't really know. Where can he go for real? Um, he's got 3 fights in the UFC, and with those 3 fights that he has, the first one, he was knocked out. He was flat out. He was out cold when Lawler dropped him on his head and hit him with them shots. He was out. He was sparked. He was counting lights, but Lawler hit him and it woke him back up, and then he got that controversial finish, which I believe that Lawler did go out, though. I believe that Lawler, he went limp. People don't go limp for no reason. Unless Lawler was trying to play a game and go limp, so ask him to let the choke go. That's the only thing. But either way, if you're going to go limp, you have to pay the price, man. So I don't fault that a lot, but that fight should have been stopped earlier because Askren was out. He was out cold. He was face down, butt up in the air, just, drool coming out the side of his mouth, got woke up by a punch. But so that one, it's not a great win. Then we got the fastest KO in UFC history. What was it, 6 seconds? 3 seconds? I don't even know what it was. I think it's 6 seconds is what it was, man. He got sparked so fast, man. And for one, he should have taken time off, though. That kid should have taken a year off, man. I thought he came back too quick after that KO. You need at least a year to recover, if not 2, to recover from a massive head trauma like that. But anyway, he came back, and they gave him, having being Damian Maia, you're not going to worry about a bunch of head trauma, man. Damian Maia he's not no high level striker. I mean, Damian Maia's striking is basic at best. It's improved over the years, though. I remember back when he was fighting Anderson Silva for the title, he had no striking, and now he's got a little bit of striking. He can use his strikes to set up his entries and other things. But both guys are pretty much one-dimensional, both Ben Askren and Damian Maia. But in one-dimensional, when this fight came up, I thought, who can end the fight, though? And when I thought about that, I'm like, Askren can't end the fight. Even if he gets Maia down, the only thing he can do is ride time him. So I had picked Maia to win this, man. Because Maia was the only one that had really the ability to finish the fight with submission, man. When it comes to wrestling on the ground and transitions, if you can't end it, all you can do is ride. And Damian Maia is just too crafty of a grappler, man, just to let somebody ride him the whole time. He's going to set up a transition, and he's going to work a submission. He almost caught Askren in a bunch of them. I'll tell you what, though, man, that's some of the worst striking I've ever seen in an MMA match. I mean, watching Askren strike was comical. I mean, he hit Maia with some uppercuts, though. I was dying. Those uppercuts were the ugliest things I've ever seen. They worked, though, but they were ugly, man. Ben Askren's so one-dimensional, man, and he's not even one-dimensional in the way that he can finish a fight. He's one-dimensional in a way that he can just get on you and hump you pretty much. So, there was a lot of questions when Ben Askren. Well, look at that bird. It's a crane. When Ben Askren came to the UFC, how good is Ben Askren? We know how good Ben Askren is now. He's not top of the food chain. He's ranked number 11th. Ross Sahabi was talking about it. He's like, that's probably right. That's probably about where he should be. And I'd say the same thing, maybe top 15. But he's so one-dimensional, man. The only thing he can do is hump you and ride you. And for people with very little ground game, he can submit you. But he's not. When you see him against a high-level BJJ guy like Damian Maia, you see what happens, man. He got owned on the ground. His wrestling, he got some positions and some control, but Damian Maia has not just BJJ, but Damian Maia can wrestle too. Damian Maia is, he's not a complete fighter, but he is a specialist MMA fighter that can do enough of all of it to get by. And his BJJ is always impressive. But so what does Askren do now, man? We looked at him. Well, let's look at him. First of all, like he said, he was way overrated coming into the UFC. We thought he was going to do maybe big things because his wrestling was that good. And man, this is the top of the food chain. All these cats can wrestle, man. So just being a wrestler isn't enough in the UFC. Now, the thing about one is one has high level of competition, just like the UFC. If not as high as the UFC, but it's this. One is an Asian-based promotion. So what one has is good strikers. Their strikers are better than the UFC. I'm gonna say right now, go watch these cats strike. They can strike. I was watching their Rich Franklin's thing, which is like the Contender Series, like Dana White's Contender. It's their version of the Contender Series. And there were some young cats. The cat that won it, that boy can strike, man. He was fluid. He did all sorts of crazy stuff I never seen, man. He had stuff from angles coming from everywhere, downtown, uptown. I was impressed. But the level of their ground game, being most of these Asian guys, it's not on par with the UFC, because that's what the UFC gets. That's what you get from America, and that's what you get from Brazil. You get talented grapplers. You get the top of the BJJ guys from Brazil, and you get the top wrestlers from the United States. And you know, Asia doesn't have that. So when you have a grappler versus striker match, the majority of the times the grappler takes the match, and that's how Ben Askren was so successful in one. He was fighting good. He was fighting those guys. Some of them were good strikers, man, but their level on the ground was just not up to snuff with the level of American wrestling or Brazilian or Brazil's BJJ masters, man. They're just not up there. So he was able to out wrestle some people and get past their striking, which we've seen in MMA, man. That's what brought the UFC. That's what kept it going. That's what brought the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, showing that striking without grappling doesn't mean nothing. So, and that's the thing. That's the thing. The talent between the two guys is comparable. They have very, very good talent, man. It's just you're gonna find in the UFC a better wrestler, which means it's probably gonna be the guys that are win more because you have a lot better wrestlers in there. The wrestling of the level of the ground game is better than the UFC, but the striking, take some UFC strikers and put them in kickboxing matches from the guys versus one. They're gonna get their butts handed to them. They're gonna get owned all day, man. These American guys or with boxing. Even take a guy like Yair Rodriguez, man, who's a very crafty striker, man, and he gets owned by a lot of these guys for one because there are master uh, karate, kung fu, taekwondo, all sorts of different, and Muay Thai is the big thing. I mean, they have real Muay Thai fighters, guys that have been fighting Muay Thai since they were little boys, and they have mastered the art of 8 limbs. And the American guys just don't got it like that. To be honest, man. They're on a curve because they don't grow up in that culture, that tradition. So anyway, that's what made Ben look good and won. But now, as he's been exposed, what does he do now? To be honest, do we care? You know, he was humorous at first. He was a nice breath of something different, man. And the fact that he might have been successful with all that trash talking, all that silly preppy kid from high school stuff, man, like dorky, nerdy stuff. But you can't back it up, man. It gives no interest to anybody. Nobody's interested in seeing Ben Askren fight anymore. We've seen him, and he can't win versus just the ground guy. He can't win versus a middle of the road guy like Jorge Masvidal, who's just a good all around fighter, and he can't win. I mean, and his win against Robbie Lawler, Lawler is. I mean, he's past his prime, but he was a lead of the lead as far as cage fighters has ever been. And man, he sparked Askren. So nobody cares about Ben Askren anymore, man. You know, if he needs to make some money, man, more power to him. Will I watch him fight? I mean, if he's on a card, but I don't even see he should be on. I doubt they even put him on the main card anymore, man. They'll probably put him on a prelim somewhere. But if he needs to make some money, man, more power to him. Make that cash. But am I following him or am I interested in him? Nah, man, I'm not interested in Ben Askren no more. There's no way he's going to be UFC champion. He's not going to make it into the top 5 from here. He's done, man. He's like 36 something. He's getting up there in years, man. He's past his prime. He had his chance in the UFC and he failed. He didn't make it. So I'd be surprised if the UFC don't cut him, man. They might cut him after this one. If he gets one more, he's definitely cut. So, but anyway, man, at least he gave it a shot, man. He got some balls to do that at least, man. He never makes. God really didn't make excuses for himself, so I can give him that, man. I can respect him for that, but he's just not the level of the top of welterweight division. The other elite wrestlers there, they have more well-rounded games like Kobe, Usman, Champion, and the rest, man. They're gonna own Ben Askren. Because Ben Askren's so one-dimensional, man. The guy's been doing this for a lot of years. You think he would be able to strike better than that? I haven't been doing MMA probably as I did it in the past. I haven't done it in years, man. But I can strike better than Ben Askren for sure, man. And this guy's a professional cage fighter, dude. He gave no time to that craft. He gave no time to boxing or Muay Thai or kickboxing or boxing. None of it, man. He should have. He should have developed his skill set, and then that wrestling would have played out some more. But he doesn't have enough other other tools to really be effective anywhere. So he's done. Uh, I don't see why the guy, unless he needs money, just go ahead and retire, man. You've had a career. You are one. You are at least you are a champion of the world in an organization. That's more than I can say. That's more than most people can say. So he can be proud of that. But I'm not interested in him, and I don't think anybody else is. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Leave them below, and have a good day. God bless. Peace.